come to line, knees bent, and have your feet on the ground. Come to bend the left knee into the chest. Bring your attention to the base of the spine, and the sound mantra, every chakra point has a sound, is the sound for this chakra is Lam, and it's spelled L-A-M, but the A is slightly softened, it's almost like a lung, but it's a lung, lam. And the mantra in one tradition of yoga is, before you laugh, you don't have to join in, but you can, is they sing it and it's lum, 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 lum. It does go on. But just bring your attention to that base chakra. And we're working on the Apana energy, that's the base foundational energy. And I'm very, very gently supporting the left leg to bring the left foot to the floor. And pick up the right knee, hugging the right knee into the chest. And we're still at the base chakra. So the sound, they call it the Bij mantra. The seed, the basic mantra is Alam. And then we move on a little bit up to the next chakra, and that is between the base of the spine, the perineum, and the navel, and it's almost around, varies with different people, almost where your Nicoline is, or if you ever had a cesarean, which I suppose you have, it's where that line is. So just intuitively focus there. The base mantra sound is Vam, V-A-M. And then hugging the right knee into the chest, open the right knee to the right, and just rest the right ankle on the left thigh. Hands can be resting on the abdomen, or they can be palms down on the ground. Your choice. And you can introduce a little sway of the knees from side to side. And if you were being traditional, you would mentally sing Vam, or out loud Vam. Vam, 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 vam. And then very gently, having opened the right hip, hug the right knee into the chest. Put the right foot onto the floor, and then hug the left knee into the chest when you're ready, and open the left knee to the left. Hands either palms down on the floor or resting on the abdomen. So we're still really at the Apana level, we're moving towards the next level, but we're still really within the Apana foundational energy level. Then very, very gently hugging the left knee into the chest. And let the right knee join it so that both knees are hugged into the chest, and just very gently rock from side to side. And come back to the centre. Place the right foot on the ground, hug the left knee into the chest, extend the right leg along the floor. We're going to come one level up to behind the navels, so that is the Manipura chakra, the navel chakra, and the sound here, the Bij mantra is Ram, R-A-M, Ram. And then very gently, if you've got your bolster to hand, if you haven't, don't worry, roll the entire body to the right, resting potentially your left inner knee, thigh onto the bolster. The right hand goes somewhere along the outside of the left thigh, and the left hand goes on the waist, either looking up or looking to the right. If you want an additional twist, you can raise your left hand up behind you to stretch out under the arm. So the choice is yours. And then very gently roll onto your back, bend both knees, both feet on the ground. Take your support, if you're using it, and lift it to the left side. We're going to come to straighten the left leg and hug the right knee into the chest. And when you're ready, roll the entire body over to the left. Right hand on the waist. Or if you want to extend the hand, raise the right hand above you. You can be bent at the elbow. Stretching out to how you feel is good for you today. And then very gently rolling onto your back. Lowering your arm if your arm was up, unraveling your legs and bending your knees so that the feet are on the mat, hip width apart. You can begin to move your feet optionally a little bit wider than hip width apart. And just sway the knees from side to side. Your hip will lift off, your hips will lift off the ground, one hip as you go in one direction, the other hip as you go in the opposite direction. Then come back to the centre with the knees. Hug one knee and then the other knee in. And circle the ankles in one direction. And then circle the ankles in the opposite direction. Just very gently rock from side to side. Support under your legs as you place one foot and then the other back down onto the mat. And raise your arms above you, both arms. Your elbows can be bent. Depending on your capacity, you can straighten your arms or keep the elbows bent and hold your left wrist with your right hand, extending the left arm and just possibly bringing the left hand just with the right hand over towards the right, just stretching out under the left arm and stretching the left side. Come back to the centre and change hands so that this time the left hand is holding the right wrist. Extend and just slightly guide your right hand over towards the left. Bring your hands back to the centre, and as you next breathe out, lower your hands back down to the ground. Once more, just sway your knees from side to side. And then we're going to come to roll to the side and come up to a seated position into Bhuta Shuddi or easy pose. So Bhuta Shuddi is when the soles of the feet are together, and easy pose is a cross-legged position. So, soles of the feet together. Is there anything you want to focus on today? Sue's here to ask. Or a general, lovely.
Anything else? People, just general well-being.
As you were sitting like this, you can do the lower lymphatic system, which is around the ankles area, ankle bone. So it's all around the outside of the ankle bone. So if you just move your thumb, sort of, it's called thumb walking. So if you walk your thumb along, pushing it down and along, all around the outside the ankle bones. You can go one way and then the other. And you can also do it on the outside of your bones, but obviously not when you're sitting like this, because it's a bit the contortionist, but it's quite nice. And so it ties in with, sometimes when your lymphatic system's not working, like heart problems or whatever, when you get off your ankles. So that's where the lymphatic system, lower lymphatic system, and then the upper lymphatic system is down in between each of the toes. So if you pull your finger down in between, say your big toe downwards, about an inch down there, and then the next one down. So it's down in between the bones, so it's that upper area. So that's the upper lymphatic system, and the ankle bones and the lower lymphatic system.
Really slightly sore behind my ankles, just in that bit there.
Yes, you can do. I mean, sometimes when it's hot, we get slightly sort of a bit dehydrated or whatever.
Yeah.
It's quite nice and relaxing in that area.
I was looking at the electrolyte balance being disturbed for hormonal out of balance, and the electrolyte re-energising you, feeling you, making you feel bouncy. So Phil has ordered, not that he knows it, some pink lemonade electrolytes. You kind of press the button, it kind of slips through, so I'll be interested. Probably tastes disgusting. But anyway, so from there, come to easy pose.
I like those drinks actually. Really nice.
Well, we'll see. That I'm just trying them. And then just walk your hands to the left, bend your right elbow, either look down or look straight ahead, and you can bounce your right arm in and out slightly. Tummy in to press the hand down to bring you up. Sit up and then slide the hands to the right. Go to the other side. And then coming up Lift and roll the shoulders. And then either, we're going to come forward, either have the hands on the knees to lengthen the chest and come forward, or if you're happy to walk your hands slightly forward, walk your hands slightly forward. Only come to where it works for you as a nod to a forward bend. And then tummy in as you walk your hands back. We're just going to do a nod to the Samana level here at the navel before coming onto the heart, where we're going to do some salute to the sun variations. So the Samana twist, just left hand up to the right knee, right hand behind, turn to look over the right shoulder. Just very simple. Tummy in to come back to the centre, and then come to the opposite side, lift up, sit up, right hand comes to the left knee, left hand behind you, and turn to look over the left shoulder. Come back to the centre, hands onto the knees, just a nod forward. And then we're going to come to, via our hands and knees, we're going to come to standing. So on the hands and knees, dipping the back, rounding the back. Do that again. And then we're going to, as we round the back, come to stand however that works for you. So tucking the toes, you might like to come via downward dog. Or you might like to adopt your own variation. You can walk the dog if you choose downward dog. And we're coming up. I'm walking my hands to my feet to my hands, softening the knees and rolling up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And then just, that patch is incredibly hot, interestingly enough. So I'm just going to slightly
Burn
avoid
yourself.
burn myself, lift and roll the shoulders. Just, how can it go from the 5th of June heating to this? And then softening the hands, circling up, stretching up, palms together, hands through the heart centre. Come to slide the hands onto the shins, half lift, breathing out, bend in, breathing in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe. Breathing in, press your feet down, bend your knees and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And breathing in, raise the hands up, stretch the fingers, circle the wrists as you come down. Hands to the heart centre, so this is Yam, Y-A-M, the heart centre, and connects to the element of air. Soften the knees as we again do half salute to the sun, stretching up, stretching the fingers, palms together, come through the heart centre, soften the knees, hands onto the shins, half lift, breathing out, soften in, half lift, and stay here as you breathe out. And then soften the knees, press your feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra. Standing, stretch your fingers and circle the wrists in the opposite direction if you can remember. If you can't, don't worry. So we're going to come to half up to salute to the sun, but very gentle. Hands together as you come to the top of the mat, at the heart centre. Circle the hands up,
Stretch up, hands together.
through the heart centre, and come to bend your knees sufficiently to place your hands on the ground to either side of your feet. Step back with your right foot, stretch the leg out, right knee to the ground. Left leg back, breathing in, dipping the back, and rounding chin to chest. Either do that again, or this time as you round, come to downward dog, and if you opt not to, then just come to do another cat-cow. Walk the dog by bending one knee and then the other. Extend both legs, and then we all come back to kneeling on the ground. Hands to the left, slide the right foot up. Hands to either side of the right foot, just stretch into the right hip beyond the 90 degrees. But come back to the 90 degrees to put weight on that joint, hip joint, to tuck your left toes. Perineum engages, tummy in, lift your left knee, and slightly come back to step your left foot forward to meet your right, hands on the shins. Half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. And then breathing in, roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing.
Hands up. Stretch your fingers.
Lower the hands. Hands together at the heart centre. Circle the hands up,
Stretching up.
palms together. Come through the heart centre. Soften the knees. Hands to either side. Step or slide back. Left foot. Left knee on the ground. Slide back, left foot. Widen your knees and come to a child's pose of your choice. So it can be extended child's pose, or you can use your hands to make fists, or rest your forehead, or you can use your bolster to rest your forehead. Just breathe and focus the breath towards the back. And then very, very gently come up to kneeling. Hands this time go to the right. Slide the left foot up, and hands go to either side of your left foot. Stretch the left foot, knee beyond the 90 degrees, and then come back to 90 degrees. It gives you support as you tuck your right toes under, tummy in, perineum in, lift the right knee, and step or slide the right foot to the left. Hands on the shins, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. And breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing.
And breathing in. Stretching up. Thumbs together.
As you just sway slightly from side to side. Test your balance by bringing the hands to the centre and just lift the heels. And when you're ready, begin to lower the heels. Bring the hands to the heart centre. And then the lotus mudra still at the heart centre as you breathe in, hands out. And then circle your wrists, fingertips together. Soften the fingertips. Keep the thumbs and the little fingers together as you open into your little lotus mudra, and bring your hands together at the heart centre. And then we leave this heart centre and travel up to the throat as we come back to the mat, lying on our backs. Knees bent, feet hip width apart. And the throat sound
which looks into the Udana energy, is hum.
HAM. So knees bent, feet hip width apart. We're going to start with a couple of pelvic tilts. So palms down alongside you. Flatten the back as if you're going to lift your bottom. And then release. And then flatten the back as if you're going to lift your bottom and release. This time, if you're able to, you might want your feet slightly closer to your bottom. Press your feet into the ground, lift your bottom as little or as much as you would like, and then bending the elbows, raise the bent elbows above you, resting the backs of the hands on the ground. Your chin will naturally come to the chest. Doing supported or half bridge. And then breathing out, lower the back down to the ground. The hands will naturally follow. Hug the knees into the chest. Soles of the feet to the ceiling, which are open in a V. Palms of the hands together. Bend the knees into the chest. And then the soles of the feet come back down to the ground. Palms down alongside you. And when you're ready, press the feet into the ground to lift the bottom. If you come up slightly higher, just check that your knees are in a straight line. Raise your elbows bent above you. You can stretch them out if you want to. Chin to chest. And then breathing out, lower the back to the ground. The hands or the arms will start to follow. Hug the knees into the chest. Soles of the feet to the ceiling. Palms of the hands together through that V. And then hugging the knees into the chest. And just very gently rock from side to side. Noticing the back of the head is connecting to the ground as well. Almost going across some acupressure points. Very soothing. And we're still around the throat area. Bring the feet to the ground. And we're going to come to Sphinx pose, which means rolling onto our tummy and lying on our elbows. So Sphinx pose is quite helpful for strengthening the back, but it's not as strong as Cobra. So your elbows are hip width apart, are shoulder width apart. Press your elbows into the ground, almost pull yourself forward and then relax. You're looking down. In some forms of yoga, more heading towards the restorative poses, yin restorative, you're holding this for several minutes. It's uplifting. It would be classified as a back bend because you're lifting up at the chest. It's slimming for the tummy, that fat at the stomach level. You can wobble your bottom slightly from side to side, jelly wobble. Sacroiliac stabilizer. And then just come to lying. The elbows go out to the side and rest your forehead on the backs of your hands. You may turn your head if that's more comfortable for you. Perhaps widen your knees a fraction. Bend at the knees so that the soles of the feet go up towards the ceiling. And then windscreen wiper and just gently sway the feet from side to side.
So this chakra at the throat and the next two all focus on the element of ether. Some traditions don't really go, they don't separate the chakras out beyond that, but others do. And then just release your feet back down to the ground.
You might want to bring your knees in slightly. And then we're going to come to a seated position, however that works for you. So whether you classically would slide your hands back, palms down to next to your chest, elbows in and come up, or you can roll to the side, bend your knees in and come up to a seated position. However that works for you. And we're coming now to the third eye here. And in this sequence, it is sitting comfortably, legs out, or however works for you. And the invitation is to chant Om 3 times, imagining your energy focused there. So I'm not a great Om chanter, I think Charlotte is. So whether you say Om silently or out loud, breathe, or if you want to lead Charlotte, so breathing in. And twice more. Last time. And then we're coming to some very gentle meditation, so that's all round the head, which will include just the whole area. Bring the hands to the heart. Bring the hands to the forehead. Bring the hands back to the heart. Be comfortable. So if that means that you sitting up is not comfortable for you, because we're going to spend a few minutes just on a breath work, you can lie with your knees bent, your knees touching, if that works for you. So when you're ready, breathing in, and mentally imagine breathing in, saying to yourself mentally, so, and as you breathe out, say mentally, hum. And you're focusing again through the chakras, so we start at the base chakra. In your breath, breathing in, so, and breathing out at the chakra center, hum. Or have the chakra, that base chakra is the focus. So, and then with your attention, just move up to the sacral chakra between the base and the navel. And settle where you feel that your chakra will be. And again, it's breathing in, focusing at that area, clearing it, healing it. So as you go in, hum, as you breathe out. A couple of times in your own breath. Now bring your focus to behind the navel, front of the spine, behind the navel. And the same thing. Manipura chakra, so as you breathe in, hum as you breathe in. And then just bring your attention slightly higher to the heart centre. So as you breathe in, hum as you breathe out. Down to the element of air and the sense of touch. Colour, varied colours. In one system it's green or pink. Other systems have slightly different colours, correlating with the elements. The breath comes in and takes away on the out breath anything that's not serving you today. And then just run your attention from the heart to the throat. So as you breathe in, hum as you breathe out. The throat connects or is linked to the thyroid and parathyroid glands. An ongoing stress can deplete adrenals that can impact on the thyroid, as I understand it. So relaxing at the throat. Often associated with the colour blue in the more traditional system. Colour blue and the element of ether. And bringing your mind, floating it up to the third eye, pineal and the pituitary, part of our metabolic control, as well as the thyroid and the parathyroid. Sort of an indigo colour. You want to be linked to a colour. And again with the element of ether, so as you breathe in and hum as you breathe out. Then just float to the crown, the Sahasrara chakra at the very top. You can think of white light, you can think of a goldy or silver and gold. So as you breathe in and hum as you breathe out. And then let the breath focus float away. And once more, bring the palms together. And just bow, connecting the hands or nodding to the head, thoughts. Drop the hands to connect to the lips, words. And then drop the hands again to connect to the heart, deeds. Take a very soft bow forwards for yourself. Release the hands back onto the knees. Come up. And thank you. I'll disconnect.